Ladies and gentlemen, it's a moment of pride for our country. It's historic, especially in the field of digital payments and transactions. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Singapore counterpart Lee Hsien Loong on Tuesday witnessed the launch of cross-border connectivity between UPI and PayNow, and they attended this via video conferencing. So how does this work? The UPI PayNow linkage, what does it mean? The UPI PayNow linkage will enable users of each of the two fast payment systems to make instant, low-cost fund transfers on a reciprocal basis without a need to get on board the other payment system. So the UPI PayNow linkage will allow hassle-free, real-time direct transfer of money between India's UPI and Singapore's leading payments platform PayNow. It will also help the Indian diaspora in Singapore, especially migrant workers, students, through their instantaneous and low-cost transfer of money from Singapore to India and vice versa. Now, according to RBI, Singapore is among the top nations sending remittances to India after the United States, the UAE and the United Kingdom. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also said that out of the total real-time digital payments that took place throughout the world in 2021, 40% took place in India. The UPI money transfer between India and Singapore can be done through a mobile app or even net banking. So how does this work? And this can be done only by participating banks and non-banking institutions. They have to be clearly identified and highlighted. Initially, the transaction would be maximum of $200 per day or $200 at a time and up to $500 per day. And slowly it will go up to 1,000 Sing dollars per day. Now, currently there are 8 financial institutions on this linkage. From the Singapore end, there are 2 entities, the DBS Group Holdings, which is a bank, and Liquid Group, which is a non-banking financial institution. In India, the banks participating in this linkage are Axis Bank, DBS India, ICICI Bank, Indian Bank, Indian Overseas Bank, and the State Bank of India. The Prime Minister, meanwhile, has called it a historic milestone and said that linkage will benefit citizens of both nations.
UPI PayNow लिंक का लॉन्च आज दोनों देशों के नागरिकों के लिए एक ऐसा उपहार है जिसका वे उत्सुकता से इंतजार कर रहे थे। मैं भारत और सिंगापुर के लोगों को इसकी बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। साथियों, आज के युग में टेक्नोलॉजी हमें अनेक प्रकार से एक दूसरे से जोड़ती है। इससे दोनों देशों के लोगों को अपने मोबाइल से तत्काल कम खर्च में फंड ट्रांसफर करने में मदद मिलेगी। इस सुविधा से दोनों देशों के बीच रेमिटेंसेस का सस्ता और रियल टाइम विकल्प संभव हो पाएगा।
Let's now try and look back, and perhaps proudly so, the evolution, the history of UPI, an instant payment system that was developed by the NPCI. The journey began back in 2016 with the theme, a faceless, paperless, cashless system. The aim of UPI is minimalize interface. So minimalist interface, make it user-friendly, the experience, and of course financial inclusion through your phone or even by the click of a mouse. The agenda of UPI was to change digital payment landscape. The result of this is that India globally has the highest real-time transaction volume that constitutes well over 52% of all digital transactions taking place in our country. Now to the significance and importance of it. The UPI is the flag bearer of the ongoing financial revolution that we are seeing in our country, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because it is simple and individualistic. Paying and receiving payments is as easy as a single click or a swipe from the user's preferred app. It's innovative because adopting a UPI ID rather than entering bank account numbers and IFSC codes has made transactions very effortless. It's immediate through mobile, round the clock, 24/7 and 365 days. Banking, non-banking, doesn't matter. It's instant, it happens. Inclusive, The interoperability of the UPI demonstrates that once a user has signed up on UPI, they can immediately send money or receive it from anyone on the UPI system. Security. Virtual address for pull and push transactions is required. Digital landscape and connectivity, if you look at it, it's a cashless and ATM-free world for most and was a savior for many people during the COVID-19 pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, when everything was closed, UPI was still working, payments were still going on. Now, Bharat is also leading the digital payments revolution, ladies and gentlemen. The world is in awe on India's overall UPI revolution. Have a look at this. April 2016, the number of banks live on UPI were 21. The volume in millions was not there. Accountability was not there. Value in crores was not there. Jan 2016, so from April 2016 to Jan 2017, 36 banks, volume went up to 4.46 million, or the total value was about 1696 crore rupees. 1 year later, Jan 2018, the number of banks live on UPI jumped to 71. The volume of money went to about $151.83 million. 151.83 million. 15,571 crore rupees was the transaction volume. In Jan 2019, the number of banks is 134. The volume itself is 672.75 million, and the total value of the transactions is more than 1,09,932 crore rupees. That's the amount of money. So, if you look at this, Jan 2020, that number went up to 144 banks. Look at the value in crores. It's gone up to 2,16,242 crore rupees. And that number eventually by Jan 2023, so from Jan 2017 to Jan 2023, in a matter of just about 6 years, we've gone from 70 odd banks to 385 banks, and just from 1,696 crore rupees to, there you go, 12,98,726 crore rupees. That's the volume of transaction. That's the value of transaction, and the volume is 8,036.89 million. So clearly, it's a behemoth that we've created, and credit to all of us as a people of this country to have adopted and moved on to this form of digital payments and to UPI. Now, a memorandum of understanding has been signed between the Central Bank of Oman and the NIPL has enabled Indian RuPay cards and the UPI platform in Oman to facilitate seamless digital remittances to benefit Indian workers and professionals. And it's not just Oman. The collaboration has also happened with UAE. NIPL has partnered with Lulu Financial Holdings, Mashreq Bank and Network International in the UAE to enable UPI payments. Then in Malaysia, Mercantrade Asia has partnered with NPCI International to offer real-time remittances to India. This partnership has enabled Mercantrade and its network to connect to NIPL and facilitate remittances to beneficiary banks in India via UPI. Singapore, the centre believes that the integration of UPI and PayNow will allow residents of both countries to send cross-border remittances more quickly and cheaply. Next nation is Bhutan. NPCI International Payments Limited, the international arm of National Payment Corporation of India, or the NPCI, and Royal Monetary Authority of Bhutan have partnered for enabling and implementing Bhim UPI QR-based payments in Bhutan. We are also doing with Nepal. Nepal became the first foreign country to deploy UPI as a payment platform, with the collaboration between Nepal's Manam Infotech and Gateway Payment Service, person-to-person, person-to-merchant and cross-border payments that have been made operational. We also have France. France-based payment services provider Lyra Network signed an agreement with NIPL allowing students and tourists to make payments through UPI. The UK, to further strengthen cross-border payment solutions, TerraPay and PayExpert signed with an agreement with NIPL. Under the partnership, Worldline's QR code-based mechanism will allow merchants' point-of-sale systems in Europe to accept UPI payments from Indians using their mobile phones. Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, Switzerland, all these nations, the NIPL has entered into a partnership with European Payment Services Facilitator Worldline with the intention of expanding acceptance of Indian payment channels across Europe, especially in nations like the Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, Switzerland, etc. Under this partnership, Worldline's QR code-based mechanism will allow merchants' point-of-sale systems in Europe to accept UPI payments from Indians using their mobile phones. Fabulous, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Well, we're going to take a